They drenched Nina Thompson in soda right at her desk. Moments later, her billionaire husband walked in, and the entire office froze. Sticky brown liquid slid through Nina's curls, soaking her navy blouse as manager Jessica Whitmore's mocking laugh filled the Manhattan headquarters of Apex Marketing. "Oops," Jessica smirked, dropping the empty can. "Thought you could use a little refresh." "Look at the company's diversity hire getting a cola shower," Brad Mitchell shouted, recording on his phone. Beside him, HR assistant Samantha Chun giggled while texting furiously. Nina stood perfectly still, drops splashing onto the investor reports she'd prepared with painstaking care. At 29, she was the lone black analyst in a sea of privileged faces who had treated her as an outsider since day one. Jessica sauntered closer, designer perfume mixing with the sugary scent of soda. "Know your place, Nina. That state school degree doesn't put you at our table." The glass-walled conference room became a cruel stage. Some employees looked away. Most did nothing. It was the Friday before Labor Day, quiet enough for calculated humiliation. Nina drew a steady breath, her eyes bright, not with tears, but with resolve. She calmly tapped a message on her phone. "Calling for backup?" Brad sneered, camera inches from her face. "Your boyfriend taking the subway in?" What they didn't know, Nina Thompson was far more than an ambitious junior analyst. Her connections reached far beyond this toxic floor. "You just made the most important choice of your careers," she said evenly. 15 minutes later, the private elevator, reserved for board members, lit up. 3 security guards stepped out, followed by a tall man in a Tom Ford suit, worth more than most annual salaries. "Nina?" The voice of Alexander Sterling cut through the hush. "Are you all right?" The room went silent. Alexander Sterling, chairman and CEO of Sterling Enterprises. Net worth? Billions. And, as it turned out, Nina's husband. He scanned the scene, expression shifting from concern to cold fury at the sight of soda dripping from her hair. "Security," he commanded. "Remove these 3, now." Jessica blurted, "Who do you think you are? This is our office." Alexander stepped beside Nina. "Wrong. Sterling Enterprises is the majority owner of Apex Marketing. This is my office." Brad's phone clattered to the marble floor. Samantha went pale, frantically searching LinkedIn. Nina calmly dabbed her face with a tissue. "That's the problem when you judge someone by appearances," she said. "You never cared to learn who I really am." The story of Nina Thompson Sterling really began 4 years earlier at an MIT technology conference. She was there on a full scholarship. He was a keynote speaker. What started as a conversation about machine learning algorithms grew into a relationship that surprised everyone and ignored every social expectation. Now, back in the present, Jessica could barely form words. Why are you even working here?" she stammered, trying to reconcile the woman she'd mocked for months with the wife of one of New York's most powerful executives. Nina allowed herself a small smile. "Because I believe in earning my place, not inheriting it. I wanted to prove my value without leaning on the Sterling name." For 6 months, Nina had quietly built a mountain of proof. Printed emails filled with insults, audio from meetings where her ideas were stolen, security clips that showed the double standard, all of it stored safely in the cloud, waiting. "You thought silence meant weakness," Nina said, her voice steady. "You confused dignity with submission. Big mistake." The elevator doors slid open again. A man in a gray suit stepped out. Marcus Chun, Sterling Enterprises lead attorney and Alexander's longtime friend. "I have here complete documentation of workplace harassment and a hostile environment," Marcus announced, handing folders to Jessica, Brad, and Samantha. Brad burst out, "This is ridiculous! It was just jokes!" She never complained. Alexander calmly picked up Brad's phone, still recording. "Like dumping soda on her and calling it a diversity shower, or suggesting where she lives based on nothing but prejudice," he said evenly. Samantha's eyes filled with tears. "I have bills to pay, a family." "So do I," Nina replied. My mother's a nurse. My father drives a bus. They worked their entire lives so I could stand here today. That doesn't make me lesser. What no one realized was that Nana had also been leading a data analysis project poised to increase Apex's efficiency by 47%, worth millions, registered solely in her name. Alexander's voice carried across the room. You have 30 minutes to clear your desks. Any retaliation will bring immediate legal action. Jessica spun toward the other employees. Are you just going to let this happen? You all know what she's like. Silence. Colleagues looked down, ashamed. Tom Williams from IT stepped forward. Actually, Jessica, many of us respect Nina's work. You're the one who poisoned this office. As security moved in, Nina collected her laptop and files. She paused beside Jessica. Funny thing, I plan to resign today, but you've given me something better. The Patek Philippe watch on her wrist read 3:47 p.m. In 13 minutes, a company-wide memo would announce sweeping reforms to Apex's inclusion policies. Nana touched Alexander's arm. Let's use this for more than payback. He understood instantly. The scholarship fund? Yes, for young black innovators in tech, funded by the value of the shares those three just forfeited. What Jessica, Brad, and Samantha mistook for weakness had been careful strength, the patience to gather proof and turn injustice into change. But the day's reckoning wasn't finished. Downstairs, Apex's main auditorium filled with employees as Marcus began a presentation titled Evidence of Hostile Environment, Thompson versus Apex Marketing. Jessica lunged for his laptop. You can't show that. It's a violation of privacy. Privacy? Alexander said coolly. Like these emails you sent department-wide? On the giant screen flashed one of Jessica's messages. The new diversity hire arrived today. Anyone want to bet she lasts a month? Brad paled as the next slide revealed screenshots from a private group chat called Elite Apex, where he'd posted photos of Nina with captions like "Found the missing maid." Samantha gasped when her own Instagram posts appeared, including a secret video of Nina eating lunch alone with the tag #quota. Nena stepped to the center of the stage, voice calm and clear. 6 months, she said. That's how long I've been documenting every word and every action. Today, all of it ends, and something better begins. For 6 relentless months, Nana Thompson Sterling built a digital fortress of proof. Every screenshot, every audio file, every security clip, each piece cataloged and backed up in the cloud. HR had copies of everything. Then came the slide that stole the room's breath. Project Prometheus, Predictive Marketing Analysis System. Creator, Nina Thompson Sterling. Estimated value, $47 million. Status, patented. While you spent your time trying to humiliate me, Nana said evenly, I built an algorithm that will transform the entire marketing industry. Sterling Enterprises has already secured the exclusive rights. Jessica's knees seemed to buckle. Alexander stepped forward. Which means every cent of profit this project generates over the next 20 years goes directly to the Nana Thompson Fund for Black Youth in Technology, funded first by the forced sale of the shares the three of you hold in this company. Brad made one last frantic attempt. This is extortion. We'll sue. Marcus Chun, Sterling's lead counsel, adjusted his glasses. Extortion is a crime, presenting documented evidence of harassment and discrimination, both punishable by up to 5 years in prison here in New York, is not. The next slide showed the company organization chart. 3 boxes glowed red. Jessica Whitmore, Brad Mitchell, Samantha Chun. Immediate termination, just cause. You can't fire us for that, Jessica shouted, tears streaking her face. We'll fight this. You can try, Nina replied, her voice calm. But first, watch the video Brad helpfully recorded, throwing soda on me while mocking diversity. The footage played. Brad's own voice filled the silent auditorium. I bet you live in the Bronx and took the subway here today. Several employees lowered their heads, ashamed they had stood by. Alexander's tone was ice. Effective immediately, every Sterling subsidiary will undergo strict inclusion and ethics audits. Any partner company that wants to keep contracts with us will meet the same standards." Samantha began to cry. "My career, my reputation." Nina's gaze was steady. "You spent 6 months trying to ruin mine. Now you're facing the results of your own choices." The final slide appeared. Nina Thompson Fund. Initial commitment, $50 million. Goal, 1,000 full technology scholarships for young black women within 5 years. Brad almost choked. 50 million? From where? From the penalties you'll pay, the bonuses that will be reversed, and my own contribution, Nina said. And every company you approach in the future will receive the full dossier on this case. Jessica sank to her knees. "Please, I have a mortgage, bills." "So did I," Nina answered quietly. "But I turned adversity into progress. You turned privilege into cruelty." Security escorted the trio out as the big screen displayed one last message. True diversity isn't a quota. It's the recognition that talent has no color, class, or zip code. Applause thundered through the auditorium. Nina Thompson Sterling stood at center stage, the soda long dry but her dignity untouchable, and her legacy just beginning. What no one realized that day was that this was more than a personal triumph. It was the spark of a movement that would reshape the tech world. 6 months later, the Metropolitan Opera House overflowed with guests for the premiere of Code Nina, How Corporate Racism Sparked a Revolution. Nina stepped onto the stage to a standing ovation, dressed in a sleek black Armani suit, her own choice, free of anyone's judgment. "When they threw soda at me," she began, her voice carrying through the grand hall, "they didn't know they were watering the seed of change that now supports 347 young people with full scholarships in technology." The cameras panned across the audience. Fortune 500 CEOs, civil rights leaders, and, most importantly, the first recipients of the Nina Thompson Fund, brilliant students from underrepresented communities now studying at MIT, Stanford, and Harvard. The documentary closed with a revelation that left the audience speechless. Proof that a single act of quiet resolve can ignite a transformation across an entire industry. Jessica Whitmore tried to sue Nina Thompson Sterling for defamation and damages, but her own attorneys walked away after reviewing the evidence. Brad Mitchell, rejected by 23 employers, now delivers app-based orders for a living, the very job he once mocked. Samantha Chun left the city, erased her social media, and, according to neighbors, spends her days writing apology letters that will never be answered. The most ironic part, Nina told the audience, is that 3 days before they poured soda on me, I had finished an algorithm designed to detect discrimination inside corporations using AI. They handed me the final data I needed. Her new platform, Equihire, was adopted by 1,200 companies worldwide and generated $180 million in its first quarter, all profits flowing straight into her scholarship program. Microsoft, Google, and Apple formed a historic partnership to integrate the system into their hiring practices. Tom Williams, the IT colleague who had spoken up for Nina on that unforgettable day, now serves as CTO of Sterling Enterprises' Technology and Inclusion Division. Watching Nina turn humiliation into progress taught me that silence in the face of injustice is complicity, he told the New York Times. The evening's most moving moment came when Marcus Thompson, Nina's father and a retired bus driver, stepped onto the stage holding the Nobel Peace Prize she had just received, the first ever awarded for social justice technology. "My daughter has always been brilliant," he said through tears, "but for too long people only saw her color. Now the world sees her brilliance." Images of Apex Marketing's old headquarters appeared on the screen. After losing every Sterling Enterprises contract, the company went bankrupt. Today, that same building houses the Nina Thompson Institute for Technological Equity, where young innovators develop AI tools to fight systemic bias. Jessica Whitmore resurfaced once on a little-known podcast claiming, "I lost everything over a silly joke." The clip went viral. Viewers flooded the comments. You didn't lose everything over a joke. You faced the results of years of prejudice. Nena closed her speech with words that traveled across the globe. People ask if this was revenge. I say it was justice. Revenge destroys, justice builds. I turned every drop of that soda into fuel to change a system. The greatest revolution isn't tearing oppressors down, it's building ladders so others never have to endure what we did. As she left the stage, her phone buzzed. A message from a 16-year-old girl in the Bronx read, "Miss Sterling, I've been accepted into your scholarship program. I'm the first in my family to go to college. Thank you for not giving up that day." Nena smiled, recalling her own words from that fateful afternoon. You just made the best decision of your lives. She had been right, just not in the way her tormentors expected. Within a year, academics coined the Nena effect to describe how confronting institutional bias can ignite sweeping reform. Jessica, Brad, and Samantha became case studies in business schools on the cost of prejudice. Meanwhile, Nina Thompson Sterling pressed forward with her mission, transforming every act of injustice into an opportunity for lasting change. The lesson was unmistakable. In that Manhattan office, 3 people chose cruelty and lost everything. 1 person chose justice and changed the world. Because in the end, discrimination doesn't just wound its targets, it ultimately destroys those who practice it.